I'm going to talk about Garcinias and my almost 10-year-long quest to grow and fruit these. And it's been a learning process, and I'm still learning. There's so much different information out there, so many different names, and common names, and I think Charichuelo they have figured out, and I now know that I don't have to look for fruit or flowers on this because it doesn't have a lot of these little branches, side branches, which is where I just found out from my Charichuelo tree that that's where the flowers are. So that'll save me lots of time and looking. I started buying them 9 years ago, I guess, for sure. And I had another place, and I would plant them, and about 6 years ago I realized I wanted to start a commercial organic Garcinia grove in Florida. And I only grow organic. I was raised in Mendocino County, California, and it's always been organic, and that's just who I am. That's how I grew up. And for some reason, people don't think you can do organic in Florida. There's too many bugs. I know somebody that did that for 10 years, and they say it can't be done, so it can't be done. Well, I'm pretty sure that I'm the only certified organic multi-species Garcinia grove in Florida, and if not the world, and that information is incorrect. It's so easy to grow them organically in Florida. It's amazing. Zero cost for us, basically, to grow these. And they are healthy, and they flower, and they produce fruit. So I think was our goal. I don't understand why people don't grow organic. I had to take these older, larger trees that were started conventionally and switch them over to organic. When I first started doing it, I would just put them in the ground and didn't really think anything of it. And I've learned along the way, and I found that it's best to start trying to get the trees to cycle nutrients in the pots first, if you have to buy conventionally grown trees. And so to do that, I dust it with just like a teaspoon of compost, finished compost, a teaspoon of humus that I collected from the yard here, and probably a week later, lactobacillus spray, but not on the Garcinias. Other stuff, yes, but not on the Garcinias. Don't spray it on the Garcinias. But anyway, so I do that to the soil in the pots for a couple weeks with rainwater. And then I plant them. But I don't generally buy nursery trees anymore. I try to buy seeds. So anyway, all these different names and people selling. This is brasiliensis, which I would never grow again. The fruit is just not up to par for me. It's great that they can get $1 a seed for them, but I don't want 100 of them. I love you, little tree. Same with Intermedia. I wouldn't bother with that one again. But if they can cross with each other and produce something that comes up 10 years down the road, then that's good. So anyway, after I plant them, I just put a little cow manure with them. I have done everything from wood chip ring around them to biochar to raw manure, compost, all documented. That's one good thing about being certified, is everything is documented. So everything about the trees, where I got them, where I got the seeds, when I planted them, what I've done to the soil, what I do to them in the pots, everything. I keep daily notes, and I've been doing it since I started this farm 5 years ago, more than 5 years ago now. But I think it's important to have documentation so that you can go back and check things. I'm not sure what this tree is. Garcinia of some sort. It's not flowering. But a tree that I've planted a lot of seeds, because I just buy bulk seeds now of Garcinias, if I can find them. They're very hard to find anymore. 5 years ago was a little easier. Even 3 years ago was easier. But now they're... So, and then I plant the seeds right in the ground. This particular tree, who I didn't think was an achacha, and then it flowered and it was a achacha type flower, and I took a leaf off and compared it to another achacha nearby, and it matched perfectly. So I was just thinking that this little tree, this healthy little tree, was an achacha. But I bought it almost 8 years ago, and it was unknown, but it looked like it had been in the pot for, it was about, I checked my notes, and it was in the pot for, it looked like 2 or 3 years. It was and it lost its tag at the nursery, And so I planted it here and it started doing really good. It seemed to do better than a lot of the other achachas. Not quite as big as some of them, but definitely robust and healthy. And now that the fruit is on it, it's an oblong fruit. It's looking like the Garcinia acuminata with the bumps on the fruit and the oblong fruit. So it's got a couple little fruits on it. And they're both oblong and they seem fairly large. So with all the different names of Garcinia acuminata, is it Garcinia Madruno? And is Garcinia Madruno the round one, and Garcinia acuminata is the oblong one? I don't know. You can get a different answer every time you check the internet if you want. But I'm going with Garcinia acuminata today. And that makes me very happy because it's supposed to be a very good fruit. And it seems very cold hardy because it got down to 31 degrees here for a few hours. And we'll know in a few months, 3 to 6 months for ripening. So that puts us at June through August. This doesn't have any side branches, so I'm not even going to look at those anymore. I am so glad after 10 years to finally have a multiple fruiting Garcinia trees. Intermedia, brasiliensis, Charichuelo, acuminata, imbi, or Livingstoniae. And they're all being grown in a natural system. I don't really, it's very low maintenance at this point. Hi, snake. Since we got our soil health program initiated, it works. Soil health works for biological systems. The 5 principles of soil health is what we follow. That's our management philosophy. So it's very easy in Florida. So I have, like, I plant little seedlings and trees. Here's the Little cacaos coming up. And they don't get watered. You know, I don't water seedlings. I only water the nursery trees that I bought because they're not very healthy. So I have lots of cacao and little Luke's Garcinias in here. So we planted, or I planted, it's not we, it's I. I need an intern, then it would be we. Little cacaos, but I planted like hundreds of seeds of, this is Garcinia acuminata, it looks like. That could be dulcis. I got seeds from 3 different sources for dulcis. And they seem to do quite well. Everything seems to do quite well, which is nice. The only problem is the Garcinias are so slow, but that's because when I started here, we did not have a healthy system. This was a lawn for 50 years, and they used tractors, and the soil was compacted. It was just white sand, fine white sand, and lawn that would have huge, giant, standing water puddles after a rain that would stay there sometimes for weeks on end. And because the soil was so compacted. And so I had to figure out what to do, so I took a bunch of classes on soil health. And I already knew manure works, so I combined my knowledge of using manure as an input with my newly acquired soil health knowledge and implemented the 5 simple principles of soil health. And this is a little achacha seedling, and it's proven to work. That may have been a Garcinia dulcis. This is a Garcinia dulcis, I know. So this looks like that little seedling over there. And this is a Intermedia that produced fruit last year. Like I said, I would not plant these again. That's great, people get $1 a seed, but see, it flowers on the main branch, unlike the achacha, which flowers on these branches, the side branches. But I don't walk in here because I have so much stuff planted that if I start a new trail, I usually find like, oh, I've been walking on a little tree that is still growing that I now have to mark. And the soil is very, 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 very soft, so it works. Soil health works. And here's a Garcinia Intermedia that I would think this would be flower in size for sure. I don't see any flowers on it. I move, like, I distribute this stuff around, carbon. But you can see, like cacao, which is considered to be very hard to grow, isn't actually in a natural system. Anyway, I just thought I'd have a little talk on Garcinia's soil health.